everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
We've had a day or so to digest something that hadn't happened in a long time. Arkansas baseball taking a couple of losses on a weekend against a single opponent in the regular season. We had this lengthy SEC winning streak as far as series go. But when you look at all of the other weekend series, aside from the SEC, it's kind of amazing to think that it had been 23 consecutive winning weekends. When you go back to the Houston tournament in 2020, just before the stuff hit the fan, a couple of weeks later, Arkansas was swept in 3 by OU, Texas, and Baylor. And the last time that they'd lost it to a single opponent was at the end of the 2019 season to Texas A&M on the road. And then Arkansas goes out and loses a couple games to a Gators team that had been struggling for a few games there, and it sort of has to remind you. It has to remind you a little bit that these things happen in baseball, and this kind of a streak that happened anyway was just completely amazing to begin with. Completely amazing to begin with. I remember times last year, going back from series on the road where it felt like Arkansas found a way to steal a game from an opponent, where you got this heroic performance from Kevin Kopps or some late inning comeback, and you're like, how'd they do it? How'd they do it again? You scratch your head with that kind of thing. It didn't happen this last weekend. Didn't happen on Friday. Didn't happen on Saturday, and it does have to remind you too that the last 2 Arkansas teams that advanced to the College World Series lost a few series in the regular season, and the one that won all of those games in a row or series in a row did not.
It's one of those. It's one of those things you hear it a lot in sports, and you hear it mostly in basketball. I wish we would have lost earlier. I wish we would have learned how to lose. And I don't know how realistic that actually is in sports because, as we all know, you play to win the game. And to hope to lose to kind of come back down to earth or to reset your mindset, I don't know how big of a thing that really is, or if it is just coach speak and kind of just something that we all as a collective have bought in, so now it has to be true. But the game of baseball, it's so much different. Every day is a new day. Anything can happen. The ball can bounce one way. It can bounce left on Friday. It can bounce right on Saturday, and on Sunday it doesn't bounce at all. I mean, that's the craziness of baseball, that on any given day, any team can beat anybody because crazy things happen. So if you're
unless you're the team that's
upset,
playing, unless you're the team that's playing against the Tennessee Volunteers right
exactly.
now, then apparently you've got no chance.
Apparently the ball's always going to be bouncing in their way.
But when you hit it over the fence, it doesn't matter where it bounces. What are they at, 76 home runs, like that, something like that right now? Crazy.
Yeah, I think they hit 3 alone yesterday against Mizzou and to close out the series. Now 12-0 in SEC play. I've only lost 1 game this season. Is that correct?
Yeah, they played 32 games. They've won 31 of them. 76 homers in 32 games. Man, I mean, I can't do my math immediately, but that's not too far off of 2.25 home runs per game, which is good luck. I know a couple of those are against teams like Iona, but they're also hitting home runs like that.
Yeah, but you still got to hit the ball.
Teams.
But when you're playing as well as Tennessee, I'm calling it right now. I'm going to mark the tape. This is 11:04, Monday, April 11, 2022. When Tennessee goes 0-2 in barbecue in Omaha, Tony Vitello is going to say something along the lines of, I wish we would have learned how to lose. I wish we would have learned how to reset our minds and come back the next day and be able to take advantage of some missed opportunities that we had. But, great season, won a lot of games, great team, great talents. But, at some point you would have liked to have lost a game or two to reset. I'm calling it right now. That's what happens.
Well, if things continue to go the way they are right now, then the whole theory of the number one seed in the NCAA tournament, is cursed. It will be tested pretty heavily. What's it been since 2000, 2001?
Since Miami, 2000.
Yeah. Well, right now, you got another like 6 weeks left here in the regular season. Still an SEC tournament after that. But Tennessee looks a little unbeatable, and Arkansas looks like a team that had a little chink in the armor over the last couple of games against Florida. You see an inconsistent offense, a lot of guys left on base. You see a team that had the number one strength had been starting pitching, struggle on the mound the last couple of games as far as the starters were concerned. Relievers did fairly well. A couple of plays here and there. It's weird. One play feels like it leads to the next and leads to the next, so on and so on. And just a couple of plays, one in each loss, had quite a bit to do with the direction, the way the game went. And look, you get a 7-game homestand now. You get 5 in a row. I don't know if you'll get all the games in here on Tuesday and Wednesday, considering the weather that's supposed to hit here, and that you got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against LSU. So you get a chance to play a team that's playing well in LSU and get back in the win column and beat them 2 years in a row, which I don't know the last time that's happened for Arkansas baseball against LSU, because I think it's been a long time.
It's probably been a while if it has happened before. I'm not sure if it's happened either. And like you said, LSU is starting to play better baseball. I think that they're finally starting to come into their form, but I don't think you should be that worried that the mistakes or some of the things that were lacking this week is going to translate and carry over. Obviously against Pine Bluff in the middle of the week this week, and then against LSU. So, yes, you like streaks to continue. You like to get that record. The record was 14, right? And you fell one series short of that. You'd like to get it, but records aren't everything. Everything's good. It's all good in Hogland.
Got a text in from Greg here. You can be a part of the show, too, at 877-377-6963. And he gets at the umpiring for Friday. That was an interesting one. I noticed the name of the plate umpire. It was Jeff Macias. I remember him from the Texas League. I see a lot of guys who worked their way up the minors, didn't get to the major leagues, but now they settle into a career umpiring college baseball. You can make decent money doing that. Not like you will in the big leagues, but I think they're paid better than they are at Double-A and maybe even Triple-A in a lot of cases. And Macias, when's the last time you saw an umpire wear the sport coat on the field?
Ooh.
Like, this guy had a sport coat on for the plate. He dressed up for everybody.
Before I was alive, I'm guessing?
Yeah, there was a day and age where
I've seen him.
I think it was one of the leagues, because back then you only had National League umpires or American League umpires. One of the leagues had a burgundy sport coat that all the umpires wore. I mean, every last one of them, no matter where they were standing, they had. I
want to say it was American League was the ones that wore the sports coats.
I think it was too. He reminded me of that. Like, I even mentioned it on the broadcast. I thought to myself, I don't remember seeing somebody wear a sport coat during a game at the plate, working home plate, and I wouldn't care about what he was wearing or whatnot, other than it seemed that he took himself a little seriously.
Where do you even get one of those nowadays? I don't think
it's got to be handed down.
Issued, is it?
I would think you get that at a vintage umpiring store, along with a wooden clicker for balls and strikes and a notepad that uses a fountain pen, like a real fountain pen, because. He warned Dave Van Horn up, after a little barking out of the dugout on some calls that Michael Turner felt that the umpire had missed. And I'm not in a position up in the press box to tell whether or not. We don't have a TrackMan monitor up there during, for these road games. We do for the home games. But I can tell when an umpire's got rabbit ears, and I can hear when he's threatening to throw out the head coach. I can hear that down on the field, and. It just, I don't know, it had a little bit of an ump show quality to it. So when you're wearing a sport coat, you're the only umpire in the world that's wearing a sport coat at that moment, then you do have a sense, I guess, of the eyes that are on you, and you're dressing for the occasion.
I mean, you're trying to stand out. You're trying to draw attention, which should never be the goal of any umpire or referee official at any level in any sport. You should not want people to know your name. You should want to be so even keel, so good at your job that nobody remembers your name or what you did in a game. Because ultimately, all the umpires that we know of by name, 99% of them are for bad reasons. We know these guys because of the mistakes they've made, because it felt like multiple times throughout their umpiring career, they've tried to make the game about themselves when, yes, umpires are a factor of the game, but I would not say they are the most important factor or a factor that I need to know names of. So that's just asking for trouble. I mean, that's asking for people to know who you are.
Used to be you stood out based upon, like, your strike three call or the way that you called strikes. That was one way that they stood out. Now everybody's just kind of like they do things in the same way. So if you want to stand out, you wear a sport coat that drops all the way down to your ankles. It looked like. But I only mention it because, look, I don't think Macias or any other umpire, honestly, is biased against one team or another team. I just think they're doing a bad job right now, and that goes both ways. Like, the Florida dugout was just as pissed off as the Arkansas dugout was Thursday, as the Razorbacks were Friday, and both teams, got after the umpire a little bit on Saturday. And this has become a thing now where Arkansas fans will remember the calls that go against them and the calls that look like they should get strikes and is called a ball and this and that. I can tell you what. If I'm judging by the TrackMan monitor that we've got in our home booth, they're missing just as many calls, if not more, for Arkansas as they are for against the opponent.
They're equally bad, regardless of what uniform you're wearing. They're just going to be bad.
It's bad umpiring right now.
Is it not even? I mean, especially calling balls as strikes. Is it inconsistency in their own zones, because everybody has a different zone? Nobody
which
goes
they
from.
Have.
I know, but that's a part of baseball, and you learn really quickly in a game, especially as a pitcher, where that zone is. Does he like to call it a little high? Is he like to call it a little low? Will he call it on the black, or is he going to squeeze me all the way into the white? You know these things, so therefore, once you learn those tricks in the first inning, as long as they're consistent, you can work with it. You can pitch to that guy's zone. Is it everybody, their zones are so weird, or they're inconsistent with their own zones?
They float, man. They're
well, you can't have multiple zones. You got to stick
floating
to
on a raft.
You
they're
can't
floating
do that.
on a raft, and that's the thing.
Can't go up and down.
The floating strike zone, it will be the thing that eventually gets everybody to an automated strike zone. I know it doesn't work right now, but it's on the way, and the SEC could use it this year too. It's just, and look, the umpire is just bad overall. And look, we'll complain about football officiating. We'll complain about basketball officiating, and we'll complain about baseball officiating too. And like most of the opinions towards what do people say about the football officiating in the SEC and overall in college football? It gets to be a joke sometimes. And right now, I'm putting the baseball officiating a little bit towards the clownish stage.
Well, here's the thing, Phil. Has there ever been a time in history of sports? We can go all the way back to the beginning of baseball, pre-Civil War. Has there ever been a time where, as a collective, we've all come together and gone, you know what? Officiating was really good this year. I don't think officiating has ever been viewed as a great job. I don't think there's ever been an error going, no, that's when the game was called the right way. Those were the guys that made sure the game was played fair and even, and nobody got an advantage, and there wasn't a single bad call. We've always, as a collective in sports, have criticized umpires, referees, officials, because as fans, we expect everything to go our way, and when it doesn't, it doesn't. So, is officiating bad now? Yes.
Has it always been bad?
Has it always been this bad?
Well, it hasn't always had instant replay and slow motion, down to the play, and this being part of the game. And the TrackMan monitor is the thing that really gets to you to view, how bad it is at times. Yeah, and it used to be, it's like you say, okay, bad calls are part of sports. That's just the way it's going to be.
We didn't have the technology to go back and prove that they were wrong. Now that we do, it just feels worse.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys are any worse or any better than guys you had in the 90s, 80s, 70s, and so on and so forth. It's just now we have the technology to call them out on it.
And I also don't view umpiring the same way that you might view like political journalists or political columnists where they say, I know I'm doing my job if both sides are angry at me.
Yeah.
That's not how officiating in sports is supposed to be looked at. It's not that. You're not a journalist. You got to get it right. And usually teams will accept if they feel like something was right.
You know what thing I want to get rid of in sports? And I don't know if it's real, but we all come as a collective and have agreed that it's real. Makeup calls. When you hear a broadcast go, oh, that was close. That was a makeup call for something he called.
Makeup foul.
Makeup call. Let's get rid of those. How about we just call it like it is? Call it what it is. Whether it's real or not, I'm tired of hearing, oh, that's a makeup call from earlier.
Give the fans at home a little skin in the game. I mean, if we're all gambling on everything now and we all have the same access to the same instant replay that the men in blue or the people in zebra stripes and all that have, let the folks at home make the decision, for crying out loud, right?
You want to vote like American Idol or something?
Yeah. We're
Text in, safe or out.
We're all officials sitting in our chairs anyway, so why not, have a little more fun with it?
We're coaches, officials, quarterbacks, pitchers, hitters. I mean, we know how to do everything from our armchairs.
Oh, we had like 4 or 5 umpires sitting right in front of my my booth in Florida.
I'm sure you did.
That were talking about, why don't you put the Arkansas hat on, ump? And I'm thinking, have you been watching the same game I have? Because it seems both teams are kind of pissed off at him. Anyway, 877-377-6963. Connor O'Gara coming up at the bottom of the hour. Nobody in hour number 2. And hold on to your hats because it's going to be ugly outside. And halftime is right back.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, College at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot,
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Nobody has more pre-owned trucks than Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford. Work trucks, heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks, single cab, extended cab, and four-wheel drive crew cab trucks. Fords, Chevys, GMCs, Dodge, Ram, and Nissans. And with historic low interest rates, no payments for 90 days, and the most for your trade, Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford is the only place to buy your next truck. Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is the #1 place to watch every Arkansas baseball game this season. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese. Dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Cheer on the Omahogs every game day at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Great people, great equipment, great opportunities. This is what you get at Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, Arkansas, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, with regional OTR and local opportunities for qualified CDL drivers. You can make up to $95,000 annually and be a part of a team that embraces the concept of family. Patriot Transport wants you to be successful on the road and at home, working with every driver to ensure that they get the miles they want and the family time at home they strive for. Patriot Transport, more than trucking, it's family. Visit patriottransport.com to apply.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
I saw over the weekend that Jalen Graham's signing with Arkansas was made official. Because it's not, you can see something on someone's social media, and they can put it out there. So it's half official by then. Mm-hmm. You still have to have the school make the announcement.
Pen is touched paper.
Has it really touched paper, or was it fingers touching send button?
You know what I mean. It probably is fingers touching send button. But pen to paper just sounds better.
I guess it does. It's like pedal to the metal. Is
exactly.
there really any more metal down on the bottom there as much as there used to be? Not as much.
I don't know.
And you can't get it down to the metal anyway anymore. I don't think it goes quite that far. 877-377-6963. Yeah, got some text from Calvert here. Apparently we had some choice words from the Florida fans near our microphone over the last couple of days. And shouldn't that be the proof that there weren't biased umpires, because the Florida fans were just as angry as you were as well? We got some good sound down there from the field. We got some really good sound. Heard Nate Thompson talking to a couple of the guys before they went back-to-back on Thursday. I heard Macias threaten to throw Dave Van Horn out of the game. And then a lot of other things that I got text from during Friday's broadcast, or maybe it was Saturday's broadcast. I can't remember. But, yeah, you risk that. We love the natural sound from the field on a broadcast, but you do risk this. You risk these things.
Question. If that does happen on your broadcast, who's liable to pay an FCC fine if there is one?
Well,
is it the visiting school with the fans? Is it you as the broadcaster, or is it Arkansas as the company that puts on the broadcast, or Learfield Sports?
If it's me, Drew, then I'm going to have to go down to the second row and turn that guy upside down for all the money he's got in his pockets. So I don't think I've got $250,000 lying around. Ooh. But, hey, if we're paying $250,000 to rush the field, do we have an extra $250,000, to cover somebody else's butt because they were not the ones who dropped an F-bomb? It was some random Florida man. Like, that would be the perfect place for it to happen. Florida man causes uproar with a $250,000 fine for not rushing the field.
That would be great. I mean, the headline just writes itself. But I feel like if that happens, especially in a visitor's ballpark, if by some reason, have you ever heard of the FCC fining a broadcast for a fan's language?
No, and I
don't think it does happen.
I've not heard of an actual broadcaster get fined too, because there was a situation where it wasn't me, but it was my partner who might have said that word on a Division II football broadcast and got written up by the NCAA because of that. I don't remember any fines dished out, but they probably could have been.
There's got to be complaints first.
People have to
write in.
There were complaints, man.
There were? Oh.
There were complaints. This happened. All right, so this happened for a Henderson State, St. Cloud State Division II playoff game. I can't remember the year. Here we are. We usually talk Razorbacks. Let's talk Henderson State Reddies for a moment.
Please.
And my partner, I don't need to say his name, my partner, keep in mind, the school had just hired a new athletic director. New athletic director was driving from his old job in Missouri to his new job in Arkadelphia with the radio broadcast of this playoff game on, right? And my partner was quite upset with a couple of pass interference calls that went against the Reddies. And he'd throw a pencil every once in a while during the game. But he forgot that he was on the radio for a brief moment there. And, yeah, that F word did get thrown out. The statute of limitations, this would have been like 8 years ago at the earliest. Statute of limitations is gone, so he's in the clear.
Well, that's good. And between the three of us, we probably have, collectively 50-plus years of radio between the three of us. Do any of us know anybody that's actually been fined by the FCC? Because I don't. So if there's no fine, then, I might as well just let them rip, right?
I just know people that lost their jobs.
Yeah, I know somebody that was fired because of the Justin Timberlake thing, but it wasn't his own fault.
Yeah. It's okay. You can just have a podcast and say what you want anyway.
Would Tommy get that mad if there's no fine?
It's the best way to keep fans from screaming those words during the middle of a game is to give them the opportunity to overturn calls themselves. We give not the fans making the calls on the field when it happens. You get to do the instant replay. We'll have a vote. It's like
what's the number?
Yeah, what's the baseball team that I know the Savannah Bananas, like if fans catch a foul ball,
it's an
out. But there was another instance, I think it was like the St. Paul Saints when they were owned by they might have still been owned by Bill Veck's son, that they let fans make the decision as to hit and run or steal a base or give the batter a take shot. Like this came from the crowd. Give them the opportunity to do to overturn or uphold instant replay, because I feel sometimes like the fans' eyes are better than the eyes of the people back in the room of neutrality or whatever it is.
There was a football league. I want to say it was like an 8-on-8 league that tried to get started by doing that, allowed fans and people watching from home to vote on the plays to be called. So it's not the first time. It's definitely not going to be the last.
That's going on right now. That's the league that Johnny Manziel and Terrell Owens are going to play in.
That is the Manziel league.
Did you ever think you'd have a Johnny Manziel to Terrell Owens connection in a 7-on-7 fan-controlled league?
Not in my lifetime, I certainly didn't, but it's 2022. It's crazy times. Heck, I had to defend myself that birds are actually real on Twitter, so who knows? I had somebody think that I was a bird hater who didn't think they were real, so I don't know what I have to say nowadays.
Well, define real.
Exactly.
Real, breathing, living animals. That's real.
That's up for debate.
No, it's not.
Go home, football. You're on psychedelics. Hey, don't forget, you can find all the best odds for Major League Baseball games at BUSR.com, plus a sportsbook, racebook, and live casino. Bets at BUSR.com are safe, fun, and secure. You can play blackjack, get in on any sort of sports action, and all ESPN Arkansas listeners qualify for a 100% deposit bonus. If you put in $100, you get $100. Simple as that. You can do the rest of the math. You just got to use the following web address, busr.com/morningrush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR. College football talk with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South when halftime returns.
Family. It looks a little different for everyone. For some, it's mom and dad. For others, roommates who feel like family. And for others, it's your significant other, their golfing buddies, your children, a high school soccer team starting lineup, and oh look, they're all taking you up on the offer to stay for dinner, really testing the limits of that phrase, the more the merrier. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on home and car insurance. Easier than making 3 frozen pizzas and assorted frozen veggies into a cohesive meal.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Give potted plants a healthy start with Scott's Miracle Grow potting mix from Metters Lumber True Value. Right now, 1 cubic foot of coverage is $7.99 after a $2 instant rebate for True Value Rewards members while supplies last. Its rich, organic materials help drainage and airflow with the 6-month feed. Visit Metters Lumber True Value today for this bargain of the month and other products to help keep your garden green all season long. Certain exclusions apply. See store for details.
Carco Auto Sales takes great pride in serving Fort Smith, the River Valley, and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years, offering a variety of quality, late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. The friendly and knowledgeable staff can help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Carco Auto Sales will purchase your vehicle as well. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard or give them a call at 783-1722. Check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales, when you're ready.
First Western wants to be your business banking partner. Over the last several years, First Western has invested in technology to make banking with them more convenient for you and your business. Their electronic banking services allow you to bank from the comfort of your home or office. Send and receive electronic payments, deposit checks, and much, much more. Contact a business banking specialist today at 479-936-2000 or visit them online at firstwestern.com/business. Member FDIC.
Business is back, and your locally owned TGI Fridays is now hiring for multiple positions. For over 26 years, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has been locally owned and a fun place to work, and we want you to come be a part of our family. Apply in person or message us online on our TGI Fridays Fort Smith Facebook page. If you've been out of work and are needing a job, or you're just looking for a career change, we have multiple positions available in the front and back of the house, and we want to welcome you to our family at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter Insurance agents Ted McAvoy in Greenwood or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about a free insurance review.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like Mickey Moore Mance.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
I don't know if you planned it that way, Matty, but I'm really glad you had the Walter Payton lyric there, because there are grown men that will cry at the moment they hear Walter Payton's voice. If they were Bears fans back then, gosh, no doubt. Connor O'Gara joining us here on Halftime from Saturday Down South. Connor, you had to expect this was going to happen. I think I told you late last week that we would do this. Have you been putting in requests on SEC radio on XM Sirius to play the Super Bowl Shuffle, or was I inferring too much from some tweets?
Phil, it certainly feels like it. And so for those who don't really understand the context here, I went on with Chris Doring and Alyssa Lang on Sirius XM right before you did. I was just kind of the prep before. I was the opener for the headliner, if you will. And they were gracious enough to intro me with some Super Bowl Shuffle, which as a Bears fan, I wasn't alive for that. But basically like the only time that people like talk about football in a positive way is they'll bring up the 85 Bears in Chicago. That's just kind of the way it is. And so to be intro with the Super Bowl Shuffle just makes me think of a happier place, a place in which my franchise can actually do something. Even though I didn't see it, I can only imagine, and that kind of is what makes it better. And it's like the cockiest thing in the history of sports.
That's right. They did it before the Super Bowl. The Steelers tried to do the same thing in 1994. They did a rap video. They started doing a rap video before the AFC Championship game, and they lost to the Chargers. So yeah, you don't do that kind of stuff.
Didn't the Mets do it in '86 too? But then they pulled it off though.
I think so. Yeah, things were different in 1985 and 1986.
Must have been a wild world. I wouldn't know.
Much different. So Connor,
yeah, the Magic tried to do it. The Magic tried to do it before. I think it was before the '94 finals. I want to say. It was before they lost to Houston, and they dropped a track in the finals, and they thought it was going to go everywhere, and then they ended up getting swept, and that never saw the light of day. But yeah, if you're going to drop we're going to win a championship track, you have to be 85 Bears level of good. Otherwise, it's going to come back to bite you every single time.
Yeah. Early 90s Falcons with too legit to quit. They were not 85 Bears, just not the thing at all. Connor, I know last weekend you I don't know if you watched all of these spring games because you had told me about the guy on YouTube who kind of strings all the plays together for every spring game that is played, I think, across the SEC and maybe even Power 5. So Kentucky, A&M, and Auburn had spring games over the weekend. And I know, well, focus a little more on the Aggies and on the Tigers because those are two teams that Arkansas plays. Arkansas, you know who the quarterback is. Like I know Sam Pittman has said that Malik Hornsby will compete for the job, but we know KJ Jefferson is the quarterback for the Razorback. Aggies and Tigers, it's not quite that cut and dry. And this mix with Texas A&M, with the experienced transfer from LSU, Max Johnson, the guy who won the job last year in Haynes King, and the big blue chip prospect in Connor Weigman, it's a pretty intriguing race there.
Yeah, so let's let the record show that there was wind in College Station. It was sunny and 75, but as Jimbo Fisher reminded us after the game, a game in which his quarterback struggled to complete a third of their passes, that is the guys competing for the starting job, which is Max Johnson and Haynes King. Those guys struggled to complete a third of their passes, and Jimbo says afterwards, I think the weather had something to do with that. It wasn't a great showing for the quarterbacks. I'm not really going to necessarily say that they're in trouble at the quarterback position because of how they looked in the spring game, but it is a really interesting battle because it's kind of this classic known versus the unknown case. Haynes King is the unknown. We saw him for a game last year, a game and then a quarter against Colorado, and then he goes down with a season-ending injury, and you're kind of like, well, he won the job, and he was going into this year in 2021 is, in my opinion, one of the most intriguing players in all of college football. I thought he was the X factor in the SEC who kind of could have pushed A&M over the top. I thought they had the defense to out, but they just did not have the right quarterback. And so now this year, what does he look like coming off of the injury? What does Max Johnson look like in a new offense? I would not like to have to cram and learn Jimbo Fisher's offense in 2 months and then have to go, be in front of a national audience. Like ESPN Plus is national, but you know what I mean. Neither of them looked really good. And Connor Weigman, the 5-star who comes in with just all of this hype, he looked better, but he was also in a different setting in terms of facing the backups, and Jimbo would put him on short field. So I didn't really take away a ton from this other than it's going to be a little bit more of a learning curve than we probably realized for both quarterbacks who are each kind of dealing with their own different situations.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other teams that Phil mentioned that have a spring game last weekend, Auburn, what's it going to be at that quarterback position? I mean, Zach Calzada, obviously the transfer from A&M. You got TJ Finley and the freshman Holden Greer. Who's going to really emerge from there? Kind of just on the page, you would think it's Zach Calzada's job to lose.
Well, I'm actually kind of wondering if it's going to be the guy that you didn't mention, Robbie Ashford, the transfer from Oregon, who hasn't played a down of football at the FBS level and is going to be entering year 3 as a baseball player. And he was kind of involved in this weird Bo Nix trade to Oregon. And he comes in now having not really a lot of experience and not really having any sort of game plan on him. We'll talk about the known versus the unknown with A&M. It's kind of the same thing with Auburn. TJ Finley's the known. We've seen TJ Finley kind of struggle in a relatively limited sample size, but he's still got like a full season's worth of SEC snaps. And so if I'm Brian Harsin, I'm looking at this situation thinking I need to save my job this year. I need to have a guy who I can truly rely on to get me a top 15 type season. And Zach Calzada coming into the spring dealing with a shoulder issue is a big setback. He wasn't able to play in the spring game. So we get a full dose of Robbie Ashford. I was kind of impressed. I kind of came away from it thinking, all right, you know what? Now that we've seen him a little bit, we've kind of seen the skill set. If Brian Harsin ends up going with him because he's not necessarily in a position where he has to play favorites and worry about a bunch of guys transferring, I would at least understand the logic behind it. I still think that it would be wise to go out and get JT Daniels. It doesn't look like they're going to do that. It looks like he's going to be deciding between 3 other schools. But, yeah, the Auburn quarterback situation I don't think is great, and I think that we saw a little bit more of that on Saturday.
One of the biggest stories around Arkansas, of course, during this offseason is keeping Kendall Briles and Barry Odom. And, both of them talked to the media over the weekend, talked about how much they love Arkansas, how much they love the players that they have coming back, and the continuity to keep a staff together, to keep that culture from all 3 of the head coach, OC, and DC together is so rare in college football these days. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Arkansas is only one of 3 Power 5 schools that has the same head coach, offensive coordinator, and DC from last year. So when you look at the main 3 coaches on the football staff, where would you rank Arkansas in the SEC compared to, all the other SEC teams, head coach, OC, and DC as a group?
I'd have to really do a pretty in-depth breakdown of that, but you'd probably have to put it somewhere near 5, 6. And the continuity is a big part of that. I think you could look around the SEC and have questions with a lot of these different coordinators. Look at Ole Miss. Lane has the best regular season in Ole Miss history, and then he has both coordinators poached by bigger programs and to take the same roles at another school. And that's a tough pill to have to swallow, I think. Jeff Lebby, we assumed, is kind of destined for bigger and better things, but to go and take an offensive coordinator position at another school, and then to have DJ Durkin have a good year with that defense after they were just a train wreck in 2020, and then he goes to A&M and he takes the same position. Arkansas hasn't had to deal with that just yet, and there are some on the outside who would say, you know what, the raw numbers aren't really that good for Barry Odom. He's kind of overrated, and Kendall Briles and his background, he's not necessarily a candidate to get these head coaching jobs. Of course, he's going to be able to kind of stick around Arkansas for a little bit. I just don't think we could take any of that for granted when there are always seemingly teams that want to poach, and Arkansas has been able to hold on to that, and they do have one of the better groups, and that's why I think some of them will be sipping, a little bit of the Kool-Aid in terms of the national media talking about Arkansas. If you don't have that continuity, we ask more questions, but having that in place is maybe the biggest thing that they have working in their favor going into 2022.
Don't you feel like some of this has to deal with the idea of what it's like to work for Sam Pittman? And I don't know what Lane Kiffin is like personally, or what he, exactly what he's got his fingerprints on as far as the offense is concerned and all of that. But, I mean, it doesn't feel – you've interviewed Coach Pittman enough times to have a sense of it not just being what you see on press conferences and on the sideline. There's something different about him. He doesn't, and not to say that every other coach makes it about him, but he I believe him when he deflects the praise. I believe him when he says he doesn't micromanage. I don't always believe when I hear coaches say those things, but Sam Pittman is just an incredibly genuine person, and that's got to extend to the way that his assistants feel about him, what it's like to work for him.
I think that's really difficult, especially in the SEC. in a conference that is so demanding of the head coaching position and is so heavily scrutinized, to not necessarily micromanage and to empower your assistants. I don't think that's a given, that everybody's able to process what that's like. And we talked about it a lot with Ed Ogeron and kind of his shortcomings in the last 2 years and some of the micromanaging that he would do on the offensive side of the ball with Jake Peets. And he's like, I want him to get up to the line of scrimmage faster. And he's annoyed by things like that. And Jake Peets would kind of push back and say, well, you need to be able to kind of process what the defense is doing. And that's exactly what we were doing in 2019. So, like, there are just different things with head coaches that I think are challenging to manage. And for somebody that had never been in that spot before, we didn't know how Sam Pittman was going to empower his assistants. We didn't know if all of a sudden he was going to become an egomaniac and he was going to be a different person than the guy who was beloved as an offensive line coach in this conference. And so to empower your assistants and to be in that spot and to be willing to give them credit is just, it's not a given. Lane Kiffin, I think his situation with Jeff Lebby, he tried to empower Jeff Lebby as much as possible. But Jeff Lebby saw the writing on the wall and saw, look, as long as I'm here, Lane Kiffin is always going to get a certain amount of credit for what they do on the offensive side of the ball. And he goes to Oklahoma where he's got total autonomy with Brent Venables to now be the offensive coordinator. And I think that there are a lot of people who look at that situation, they kind of get it. Whereas with Sam Pittman, it's like, well, hey, both of these guys have total autonomy. They both are empowered, and Sam Pittman's not doing anything to kind of mingle into what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Connor, I'm going to steal this from our very own Ty Richardson. He brought this up this morning, but I thought it was a good little question to ask. Is Nick Saban was at the Masters this weekend. Is he the college football coach you'd most like to watch a golf tournament with, to be in Augusta with, or is there somebody else you'd rather hang out in the gallery with?
Pittman would be up there. I mean, he'd have to be. Pittman would just be – he would be a blast. And I don't know what Saban is like commenting on other things, right? Like, we see Saban mic'd up at the spring game, and I love that he does that, whereas you have certain coaches who are they're so anal about what gets out during the spring game that they don't want anything shown on TV or anything. Meanwhile, Saban's like mic'd up. Outside of that, though, we really don't see him kind of commenting on like other things. We don't necessarily get to see him in some of these coaches' room type settings during a national championship because, oh, by the way, he's playing in them. Mm-hmm. I think I would probably defer to somebody like Pittman, who, in my opinion, his commentary would be fantastic. He doesn't hold anything back. He's not necessarily trying to say the politically correct thing. I don't feel like he would be annoyed with my presence, which I would constantly be worried about Saban being annoyed by my existence and saying the wrong thing, like kind of walking on eggshells a little bit. Pittman's just a guy you could be able to have a great time with. So I probably wouldn't put Saban there. Now, would I love to be part of a Saban golf foursome? Absolutely, of course. Those conversations would be fantastic. If I could just get out on a golf course with Saban, Lane, and then, Feinbaum, that group would be unbelievable. But yeah, I probably wouldn't pick him to follow him for the entire day, just out of fear that I was going to say something to kind of upset him and ruin his mood.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I would feel a little too much pressure in that case. Connor, we'll let you go. Appreciate you, man. Just once with the Super Bowl shuffle, but I'm never going to get that out of my head. Appreciate you, man.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Connor.
You got it. Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. Just kind of picturing like out of the coaches, at least in the SEC. I don't think I'd want to golf with Jimbo because he can't get a word in. I'd like him to be the commentator. He can be our Instagram commentator for a video.
It's too loud to commentate on golf.
No, he's going to have to. He's going to have to learn how to whisper.
He is.
He's got it. He's going to get lessons from Jim Nantz on how to do golf properly.
Here's my number one, Brian Kelly. Just because he'll try to use as much Southern accent as he possibly can. Down there in Augusta, Georgia. Ooh, Lordy, this heat is getting me. Ooh, I'm Brian Kelly.
Yeah, but you get him on a golf course up north, and he'll sound like he did back then. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's like the dialect changes depending on where you're located, right?
Yeah.
First hour up after this.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Spring is here and Breeden RV is having the first sale of the year. New inventory is arriving weekly and is immediately priced to sell. Just like new Keystone Springdale starting at $164 a month. Need something for your toys? Breeden RV has new toy haulers starting at $239 a month. And don't forget about the exclusive maintenance for life on all new RVs. Breeden RV also has the best selection of pre-owned RVs in the River Valley, fully prepped and ready to camp. Give the service department a call at 479-262-2418 and get your RV ready for a great year. Breeden RV, where adventure begins. See dealer for complete details.
Get back in there at once and sell!
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has two locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Each day we see familiar faces who have supported us from the beginning because they see the benefits of an active lifestyle. We're also always meeting new customers who are taking their first steps towards making running or walking a part of daily life. We have the opportunity to share in their successes and help them achieve their goals. The people of Fort Smith and the River Valley are why we believe we were voted one of the best running stores in America. Visit us and see how we can help you. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
Hey, our guy Rex Hoggard from the Golf Channel nailed his prediction for the Masters.
I did.
He said he was just going with number one because he's been playing the best, and Scotty Scheffler ends up winning it, and winning it by, what was it? It was 3 strokes, 5 strokes when I saw him 4-putt. I think I saw 12, the last 2 putts.
It was 12 under, and then Rory, who had an incredible day. tied for the best final round score in Masters history. We had a 64. So Rory finished at 7 under, and then obviously the double bogey to get the 10. But Scotty's played phenomenal golf, and it was great to watch, not great to listen to. So I don't know. Am I the only one that thought a bird they were either pumping in bird noises or a bird was standing on the mic? Like, it gave me a headache watching the final round of the Masters.
They actually
yesterday.
put lavalier mics on all the birds that are flying around so you can get their audio.
Yeah, I mean, this is some high-dollar production that CBS and the Masters are putting together.
So loud. Like, I could hear the bird. I couldn't hear Jim Nantz and Nick Faldo over the bird noises.
What is it with what CBS picks up on all of these broadcasts? Because it wasn't CBS, it was ESPN. You remember at the SEC basketball tournament, there was some woman, some lady in the LSU game, Arkansas LSU round 3, that was like shrieking with every single play.
Oh my gosh! Oh.
And you heard it not just on the ESPN telecast, but also on the radio broadcast with Chuck and Zim. It's like you couldn't get away from it.
No, it was terrible. And I don't want to be a stickler, but like it was like extremely loud. And then I go to Twitter like everybody else when I have a complaint or something to say that I think's either funny or, topical. And I had to defend that I actually do think birds are real. I just thought that the noise and I told him, I was like, it either has to be pumped in or there's a bird standing on a microphone.
And so people are telling you that the bird noises are all fake anyway, no matter where it is you're standing, that they're all robotically induced or something?
That is the theory behind it, of the quote-unquote birds aren't real, which is the stupidest conspiracy theory of all time. I can take a BB gun, go shoot a robin outside, and I'll show you there's no microphone.
Well, I know
I've shot plenty of ducks and geese and doves in my time. You just never ate a microphone.
You just stay the hell away from the mockingbird.
Well, I just know that birds are real because chickens are birds, and my favorite part of the chicken is the nugget, and that's definitely real there.
That it is.
No doubt about that.
But
birds are real.
Penguins are fake, though.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, those are made up.
Maybe you've ever seen one of those in the wild? I haven't.
Apparently, the only birds that are real don't fly, and halftime goes into the second hour after this.
In today's world, slow internet equals a bad day. If you're in a rural area, you've experienced this way too often. Online meetings, schoolwork, enjoying family movie night, it's downright impossible. The solution? Fast fiber internet from Wave Rural Connect. Service is available near Uniontown, Van Buren, Pecola, Cass, Ozone, Altus, and many other areas. Check to see if it's available for you at waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online, randallford.com. Now, Dalton, before we came on, you were telling me about this new Power Boost truck. Now, I don't know anything about it. Some of our listeners don't know anything about it. But one thing is, you know something about it.
Yeah, man, the new Power Boost motor was just released in 2021, and it is spectacular. It's a hybrid motor, but you don't plug it in. It's just gas. You don't have to worry about that. It actually gets 24 miles to the gallon.
24 for a truck?
Yeah, for a truck. Runs on electricity half the time, gas half the time, and the power in that thing is insane.
That's incredible, the combination. Technology these days, man, it just keeps on changing.
Yeah, man, we're moving towards that, and Ford's following its footsteps.
And that's one of the great innovative things. In addition to that, we've talked about the mobile service van that you can only get here at Randall Ford. If you need something small done on your car, oil change, whatever, they can come to your home or your place of work. Come on by and see us, Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or online, randallford.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, showers and thunderstorms could be strong to severe. In fact, this is going to be a multi-day severe weather outbreak, hail, damaging winds, and the chance of tornadoes today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Showers and the chance of strong to severe storms today, mid-60s north, mid-70s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe to keep your yard mosquito-free. Call 479-202-9960 or visit ArkansasMosquitoJoe.com.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
And this one belongs to the Razorbacks.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Hour number 2 of Halftime on this potentially dangerous Monday. Stuff's not coming down just yet, but it will be. And we got you for the next hour. We got no guests, just you and us. Some thoughts on Arkansas baseball. And some basketball stuff to get to as well. Birds are real. If anybody has any other thoughts about
real,
that, then
100%.
you can call us in and try to convince us otherwise.
You won't. Like I said, I've killed many a birds in my day, and I've eaten plenty of them.
So you've actually seen a bird yourself?
Yes.
You've seen a bird?
I've seen the inside of a bird.
I've heard about them. I don't know if I've ever
just
seen any.
see a dead bird and like on the street and go, yep, that's a real bird.
You know,
I've cut into one, and I've looked inside. No microphones, no cameras.
You know how I know they're real?
How?
Because 2 separate points in my life I've been crapped on by birds. Once was in 3rd grade. We were walking to lunch, and a bird flew over, and I had to then go to the office and, use a lost and found shirt for the rest of the day. And then about a year ago, I was out walking my dog in the morning and then had to go back inside and take a shower and wash my hair.
See, that would almost convince me that they're not, and they are controlled by the CIA, and they were just playing a joke on you.
Yeah, that way
that
the
one goes away. That hurts the birds are real.
You've always wondered if a bird has a sense of humor for timing like that. It's only a human being would have that kind of timing, normally.
Somebody got a good laugh.
They say pigeons have such a great memory that they can hold grudges. Like pigeons and crows, like they remember faces so well that if you are mean to a pigeon or you try to harm a pigeon, it will remember you and it will come after you later.
They're geese, right? You better be careful with that.
Oh, geese don't have memory. They're just,
they're just mean
to everybody.
And they go straight for your crotch too.
They do. Oh gosh,
they're
I
vicious.
hate geese.
Apparently, is this true? Andy in Mountain Home tells us that CBS got busted piping in fake bird sounds to the Masters.
It was like 10 years ago.
20 years ago.
Was it that one?
Actually, it was back in PGA Championship back in 2000. They claim they don't do it anymore. And that's the thing about it, like the whole bird sounds. Like, maybe they weren't pumped in, but can we get the bird away from the mic? Can we turn down the natural sound mic for a minute if there's a bird right there going, caw-caw?
Yeah, what if he curses, like at the baseball game?
Yeah. Well, and see, I mean, we've had moments before, and I've been in other ballparks where it's like you can hear every text message that the person gets who is sitting right by the microphone that's pointed out to home plate. Keep forgetting that, yeah, you might have the microphone pointed to home plate, but for some reason you still hear what the people, what the people behind the microphone are talking about, which apparently included some F-bombs on Friday and Saturday at the Arkansas-Florida baseball game. Like, I guess you wouldn't have to worry about that too much at the Masters, would you? Because you're supposed to be quite decorum. Decorum is very important there.
Yes. I don't know if you'd have to worry about it there. I don't
so
think
we get
so.
the NFL.
But you still get the crazy fans that will scream. And my favorite, and most people hate this guy, my favorite is Getting the Hole guy. I love Getting the Hole. It could be a par. I love Tigers on the tee box on a par 5. We're talking 300 plus yards away.
Just every time.
And just tees off, Getting the Hole. I love Getting the Hole guy. Most people hate him. I wish The reason why I love getting the hole guy is because I wish I had the confidence of getting the hole guy. You know, that guy has never had an insecure day in his life when he buys a very expensive ticket to go to a Masters, a PGA, an Open, U.S. Open, just because, and he uses that opportunity to yell, "Get in the hole."
He's making it about him.
Exactly. I love that confidence. I wish I had that.
That was a loud bird.
Oh, that was a loud bird.
That's very
Get out of here, bird.
Pittman-like. I had a dead bird in the stuck inside. It wasn't dead yet. Had a bird stuck inside the wall of the radio booth at the Springfield Cardinals ballpark, which Missouri State shares too. This wouldn't have been for a Razorback game. It would have been for a Travelers game. Yeah, we had a 4-game series there, and it's so. I mean, you know the squawks of birds, right? But they're not supposed to be coming from the wall in the radio booth.
Oh. It eventually went away, though.
It eventually quieted down, like ever so slowly, until you didn't hear it anymore.
Then
and
you
all
started
of a sudden,
smelling
things
it.
started smelling bad.
See, the worst that I've ever experienced is with like birds in the wall at my parents' house out in the BFE, middle of nowhere. Like the bird would, like every year, would build a nest in the vent system of the vent above the stove, and that thing echoes very loudly. If you didn't know, and they just go off to where we'd have to leave the fan running for like 24 hours a day for a couple weeks straight to keep them from getting back in.
Phil, do you know how in 2000 that they found out that they were pumping in those fake bird noises?
Bird experts.
Bird experts. It was in Kentucky, and they found that the white-throated sparrow, they don't exist in Kentucky. So
That's not a native
yeah, it's like,
species,
come
you
on.
dummies. Come on.
That's paying some very close attention to the quote-unquote natural sounds on a sports broadcast.
Everyone knows if you're going to pump in fake bird noises, and it's got to be a sparrow. It's got to be
They
a
gotta be indigenous
yellow-breasted
to the area.
A yellow-breasted sparrow. It's
Well-
one of the most indigenous sparrows of the Louisville region. We all know this.
Don't you feel like you can tell the difference between piped-in crowd noise and the real thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we
Like, remember when
definitely
they
could
tried
back
this?
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was so distracting.
Well, then you knew what you were listening to.
Well, there was nobody in the crowd, too, so it didn't make any sense.
But there are NFL teams that still do this, right? They've been doing this for years. They pipe in louder crowd noise, when the opponent's offense is on the field to make it too loud for me. There are some teams that need this, like the Detroit Lions need this because they don't have enough fans showing up to games for it to matter very much.
I hate
This
it.
is our audience.
Do we do this at concerts? Do we pipe in fake crowd noise
How's
at concerts?
everybody feeling?
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
Are we piping in fake bird noises at the zoo?
I hope not.
In some cases, you might be just to keep certain birds away. I don't know. Interesting. All right, we got Charlie on hold here. Charlie, I don't know if you called to talk about aviary stuff, but here you are. You can change the conversation if you like. How are you today?
I mean, that's why I love this show. It's so versatile when we're talking about bird noises and fake crowd noises, and I mean, this show has it all.
Well, Drew's apparently staking his reputation on making sure that all of Twitterland believes that birds are real. I'm with him on this.
I mean, they're definitely real. Anyway, guys, I just want to touch on this baseball thing just a little bit. I feel like I jinxed them the other day because I texted in right after I called. Obviously they haven't lost a series since 2019, but, hey, the sky is not falling. It happened, and I think you learn from it. You get better. Obviously, probably the biggest reason they lost Game 2 and Game 3, they were terrible with runners in scoring position. They just couldn't get guys home. I mean, they were getting some hits. Obviously the pitching was bad in Game 2 and Game 3, and when your offense doesn't bring it, and your pitching is bad, you're probably going to lose. So, I've always been Connor Nolan this year's been unbelievable, and it's hard to have, 3 great starters on a team. And, I think we do have, the other 2 have a lot of potential, but, and they just had a bad day. So, anyways, I think the whole team will bounce back. The sky's not falling. I don't think, the whole world's ending or anything like that. Just a tough series loss. It happens. Move on. Get better from it. Also, I wanted to, let's see, I was going to say something else.
We can get you to do some.
I can't
what we need you to do.
remember.
What I really
So,
need you to do, Charlie, is I need you to stay on hold after your call is over and then like give some Charlie noises that we can record and play when you don't call in, so we can have some fake Charlie the tuna noises for our broadcast, for our show, because we kind of count on you calling now on a day-by-day basis. So when you don't, we can have like the fake bird noise to pipe in.
Well,
the fake Charlie noise can work too.
Phil, I'm not a big noise guy during the game. I don't do a lot of screaming and cussing. I'll leave that to Drew when he has a few. I'll let him cuss the refs out. That's what he wants to do.
Oh, I don't do that. I don't boo. I do not boo. I do promise you that.
I don't do that. I actually watch the game and sit there and I analyze it from a different, not just a fan, but just from a whole different perspective. It's not just, I'm not just going to sit there and throw the F-bomb, these refs suck and all that. I'm not a big noise guy during games unless I've had a few beers. But anyway.
And I'm sure that never happens.
No, it's never happened. But I was trying to do the whole noise that Maddie, I think, was doing a minute ago. Was that like a bird noise, the whistling or whatever what you were doing?
Yes,
I can't do it, man. It just doesn't work for me. I don't think I have that gift.
So the idea that Charlie, appreciate your call, man. It's always good to hear from you.
Appreciate you guys.
So, like the fake bird noise does not serve a purpose at all. The fake crowd noise, I think, is supposed to at least make a purpose to make you feel like there's people around even when there aren't there. An NFL team might do it for a different reason, to make it more difficult for the team on the field to hear the signals and everything going on there. But this is like so much different from like people. Do you hate that laugh track on television shows? I know there's not as many of them as there used to be, but those laugh tracks were helpful. It helped you understand when they just did a joke.
Have you ever watched one of those videos where they edit the laugh track out? They've got them for the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
That show would be unwatchable if it weren't for the laugh track.
Because you wouldn't know where to laugh.
Awkward pauses in between people saying
You wouldn't
stupid
know
stuff.
the punchline.
What we need is a fan track, because just piped-in crowd noise isn't going to tell you. I mean, it doesn't sound like a crowd. You can tell the difference. What we need are a few buttons to push. Have F-bomb guy over here. have Carol the screamer, over here.
Have the two drunken fans fighting over there. Have
That's
the
right.
puker over here, and then we have the screaming baby over there, and then you actually get the real vibe of it.
That's exactly right. Like there are so many different buttons on the laugh track, to tell a little chuckle from a giant guffaw is totally different. So there should be like the guy that's shouting obscenities at the umpire for the television broadcast, because there's going to be that person there at the game itself. You can just bleep it out on the television broadcast, because then it's not your fault.
Yeah, you can. I just think I don't like the fake stuff, because, I remember going to games, obviously it wasn't that long ago, where you had the fake pumped-in stuff. And the thing that, if you're going to pump in fake crowd noises, make sure it's timely and it makes sense.
Well, and you
there was one time where I was at a game and they pumped in fake noise, and there was a roar from the fake crowd during a timeout. Like, come on, man! Like,
someone's finger
let's
slipped.
time it out.
Yeah, someone's finger slipped on the control buttons.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're gonna replicate what a crowd really sounds like, you've got to have like 20% of the men there mansplaining the sport to the woman that's there with them, because that's part of every sporting event too. We just don't get to hear that on the broadcast, but it's a much more real experience when you're sitting there and you hear the guy behind you is saying all sorts of things that he thinks make him look like he's some expert to his date.
Or the quote-unquote annoying expert that I had next to me that says he watches more SEC basketball than anybody. And, he's a Vandy guy, so he obviously knows everything. You got to have the know-it-all that wants to talk to everybody in the stands as well.
I wish you would have set that guy straight.
I wish I had a business card. I would have just handed it to him and been like, yeah.
Or just kind of dropped it near him.
Be like,
so,
oops.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah.
Well, these days, the fan track would have to involve a brawl in the stands, too, especially in the NFL, because there was like one or two every single weekend. Double D's giving us a call here, and then we'll take the break. Double D, you're on halftime. What's going on?
Yes, watching it rain. I have a question. A lot of the Arkansas hitters get better as freshmen and sophomores they do as juniors and seniors. do you think that's attributed to the approach that they are teaching, or more of that the SEC teaching just learns more about the hitters?
That's a very interesting question, Double D, and I think it's a good question, too. College baseball is so much different from professional baseball in that you don't see, pitchers versus hitter might happen 2-3 times a year tops, whereas in professional base, certainly Major League Baseball, I mean, you get pitchers and batters facing each other into the double figures. So scouting is such a big aspect of it. Adjustments is such a big aspect of it. You can have success as a freshman in this conference or as a sophomore in your first year as a starter in this conference. They're pitched you differently the second time around. Now, I don't know if necessarily Robert Moore is being pitched a little differently the second time around here because this is his second go-around in the SEC. But it's not just Robert. It's also, Brady Slavens and Caden Wallace and, a number of returners from last year's team, Jalen Battles. But they pitch you a little bit differently because you've been scouted, because there's video on you now that might not have been as much video on you, when you came out of high school or even that first year. So, I mean, that might have something to do with it. Might have.
But, it seems like we don't adjust. Like Casey Martin had a great freshman year and then just got. And, of course, again, it goes back to how they were pitching them. But shouldn't we adjust? It doesn't seem like our hitters adjust much.
Well, we'll take that under advisement. I kind of feel like I don't know what I know the adjustments that people want to talk about with the Arkansas baseball program, and that's going the other way a little bit more, not trying to hit for all home runs so often. The good does come with the bad here in this case, and. Right. If you're swinging for, if you're trying to hit it high and hard every single time, it's tough to adjust in some cases. But I also think like with the pitchers for Florida, the starters for the last couple of games, and that reliever Purnell who pitched all 3 games, like those guys had a good idea of what they were doing, and they looked pretty darn tough. I think that Florida team was better than the 6-game SEC losing streak would show, with 10 freshman pitchers, and a couple of them looked much better once they got on the mound against the Razorbacks. But I think that might also be chalked up to baseball. And the other aspect is on Saturday, they scored 7 runs. Like 7 runs should be enough to win with the sort of pitching they've had most of the year. So I'd put Arkansas's struggles at Florida more on the starting pitching and playing from behind than anything else.
The good thing is they still control their own destiny. Hey, enjoy your show. Thank you, sir.
Double D, appreciate the phone call, man. Thank you so much.
They control their own density.
Right.
Destiny.
Got that right, George McFly. Hey, Drew went fishing over the weekend. Drew,
I did.
If I were to ask you which was the lure that worked best for you, did you use live bait or did you use a lure?
Oh, well, live bait works great, but nothing works as good as the Bobby Garland Baby Shack.
That's right.
It has great allure.
Well, it's a great lure, too. And it's made by our friends at Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith by the millions. That's the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the United States. Fish it on a lake jig head or underneath the float. It's as productive as live bait, just like Drew said, and he's got the proof. It's available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad. Halftime back right after this.
See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling.
Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Warmer weather is here. Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 spring tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's cooling your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 spring tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, the April 7th, 8th, and 9th sale went so well, we're continuing to sell on all furniture through the end of April. We have one of the largest selections in the River Valley, and our warehouse is full, and truckloads are on the way. 40% off on all cash, check, or card sales, 35% off on our in-store note credit check financing. Folks, this is not a gimmick. It's the real deal. We are family-owned in our 27th year, offering in-house delivery, service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Bardeen, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights, we switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Heath Roberts, right here in the River Valley, can switch you over so you can start saving today. Heath and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Heath Roberts, it's easy to switch and save. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Heath Roberts at 479-452-4088.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I can't stand the rain against my window, bringing back sweet memories. Yeah, when the rain.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
69-63. Jason in Frankfurt's got my favorite text of the day here today. The bird noises from CBS on the Masters was a sleep aid. Because Jason, golf isn't enough to put you to sleep on television.
Oh, come on.
He says it
was exciting stuff.
Because who doesn't sleep when golf is on television on a Sunday afternoon?
Rory shot 8 under, guys. Come on. That's riveting
How exciting.
Stuff. It was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. There's tons of people watch the Masters, man. I mean, they find it exciting. They find it plenty exciting. They're also not the people that need the fake bird noises.
Phil, I was telling Drew during the break, the first week or so I was working in radio, they were carrying the PGA Tour, and there was an off-air alarm. So if there was 10 seconds of silence, the alarm goes off in the studio. all day long.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was the alarm was going off.
I was going to call it not a daily occurrence. I mean, that's a minute.
It was
by
like
minute
it was
occurrence.
like it happened probably 5 or 6 times an hour that the alarm was going off.
I'm shocked it didn't happen twice a minute, because there is a lot of pauses in golf broadcasts.
And it really makes me appreciate Phil and Bubba, the way that they can fill up
Fill time.
Well, give us a golf tournament, and I don't think we'd have any idea what to do with ourselves.
Y'all can just throw it to me. I'll be in the Vern Tower on 16.
Well, there was
I'll carry you.
one game last year where for like an hour they were just taking people's rain song suggestions.
Yeah.
They couldn't even play any of the songs, but
They
they were
were taking the
just
suggestions?
just for the conversation.
Well, we could pass those requests along to Jimmy, who handles all the music. It worked out for us. It did work out. But there's only so many requests you can take on a baseball rain delay broadcast. Which, by the way, maybe this is the week we have our first. We haven't had a single minute of rain delay this year.
You
You've
better
had
be
rain
knocking on
outs.
some wood.
Now, you did have one canceled during the pregame. I think that may have been a week you were gone.
That was in Round Rock. That's right. So
they
haven't
started
had
the broadcast and they canceled it before the game started.
Not a single minute of rain delay. Maybe that's a difference between last year and this year, because there was plenty of rain delay times that we had to kill a lot of time last year. None yet. This will be the week it happens, and it may end up being tomorrow or Wednesday, with UAPB coming in before you play LSU for 3 games. 5 games in 5 days for Arkansas
you got a busy
baseball.
week.
You know, that's called
baseball.
another week in professional baseball. It's different in college, obviously. I mean, these guys have classes and things to worry about like that, and but you can make it through. You can make it through 5 games in 5 days. I just have a feeling it's going to be 4 games in 5 days.
Are they still doing 5-game series in minor league baseball like they were last year and the year before?
I think there's one. I think they start the season with 5 games,
Okay,
and then it goes to 4 games.
They were trying to cut. Obviously the reason behind it was trying to cut down on travel, still get the same amount of games in as possible. Which, if you were still doing minor leagues during that time, would you have preferred a 5-game series of just staying in a town for 6 days?
I love the 5-game series because then you saw every pitcher the team had. You saw all their starters. You actually would unpack your bag in the hotel and put them in
drawers
in the drawer, unless the drawers were a little dirty, which in certain minor leagues that could be the case. There might even be some dirty clothes left over from the last person who stayed there. So in that case, keep them in the luggage. Yeah, I didn't mind the 5-gamers. We had a 6-game series too. That one felt weird.
That's
that
too
one
long.
felt weird. I had a series of 1-game series in the California League. We played 5 teams in 5 days, which was crazy.
Different stadiums, or
in some cases it was.
Oh my gosh!
Whoever made the league, I don't know, had taken some crazy drugs before they made the schedule.
Yeah, apparently.
Because it didn't make any sense.
Well, it is California. I mean, who knows what they got a hold of out there?
Yeah, I need to hit on this. Oh, Dustin makes a really good point. Yeah, I don't think is this the team name of the minor league baseball team in Augusta, Georgia? Still, they were the Green Jackets for years.
I am not sure.
I don't even know if
I'm gonna have to look it up.
It is all right. That's cool.
I
well,
will look it up.
What's one of the only teams that hasn't changed its name to something else that's got. That involves something with an animal and something in a sky and some angry-looking mascot. So, yeah, the Green Jackets are still a thing. All right, we need to hit on this brand-new pine tar incident that happened with your East-West Memphis Tigers and UCF baseball the other day.
I saw this. I mean, gracious.
I think we might need to take the break so we can get back on schedule with this, because this is the kind of thing that's getting noticed all throughout the world of baseball, like in the majors too. Because if you remember that crazy incident, I think it was 1982, was it? 1982? The pine tar incident with George Brett, and one of the greatest on-field meltdowns in the history of
him running from the dugout like his hair's on fire, just waving his arms.
That wasn't just that's not just one of the greatest meltdowns in baseball history. Like, that's one of the all-time greatest meltdowns ever caught on camera. It was craziness. And you had pretty much the same thing happen yesterday in a college baseball game between UCF and Memphis. And we'll hit on that after this.
Oh, once upon a midnight period, walk with something in my head. I couldn't escape the memory of a phone call and what you said. Like a game show contestant with a party.
Racing fans, the road to the roses has started. Where are you going to bet? BUSR, of course. Win, place, show, you name it, they got it. You can even place future wagers on the Kentucky Derby today and lock in fantastic odds. Besides horses, you can bet on sports and play over 300 casino games at BUSR. Sign up today and get an exclusive 100% deposit bonus. Go to BUSR.com/morningrush. That's BUSR.com/morningrush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR.
Hardworking simplicity and serious durability. That's the winning combination you get when you pair a rugged Workmaster utility tractor with a Dura-Disc heavy-duty disc mower, both from New Holland and Williams Tractor, now WT Equipment in Springdale. You'll maximize the tonnage of your hayfields by slicing a clean, close swath, up to 10 foot 4 inches wide, all while operating in confidence and comfort with a Workmaster tractor with high visibility all-weather cab. Stop by WT Equipment in Springdale today to learn about this unstoppable New Holland team.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, online at randallford.com. Jordan, I know sometimes when people get on the lot, you don't always have what they want, but the great thing that you guys offer here at Randall Ford is you can special order it, and you were just telling me something important about that. Lock in your rebates today.
Absolutely, Ty. You know, we've got some great rebates going on right now with Ford, and let's say you get in here and we just don't quite have the one you want. You order that vehicle today, even if it's 3 or 4 months from now. Whenever it comes in, you get to choose your rebates from the day you ordered it or the day you get it, whatever works best for you.
That's almost like you guys losing money for your customers, man. That's awesome.
We just want to make sure they're happy, Ty. That's really what it is. We want you to be part of the Randall Ford family.
Yeah, let's come on by and see us again. The 4th oldest Ford dealership in the country, 114 years, 4 generations of Randall members here at Randall Ford. 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or online at randallford.com.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Everyone loves great Tex-Mex. The best Tex-Mex around is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tex-Mex brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, pork belly tacos, and the best fajitas in town. And when the Hogs are on TV, it's always half-price apps and taps. Your favorite drinks and the best Tex-Mex in town is at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Spring is here and Breeden RV is having the first sale of the year. New inventory is arriving weekly and is immediately priced to sell. Just like new Keystone Springdale starting at $164 a month. Need something for your toys? Breeden RV has new toy haulers starting at $239 a month. And don't forget about the exclusive maintenance for life on all new RVs. Breeden RV also has the best selection of pre-owned RVs in the River Valley, fully prepped and ready to camp. Give the service department a call at 479-262-2418 and get your RV ready for a great year. Breeden RV, where adventure begins. See dealer for complete details.
Get back in there at once and sell!
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I leaned my back against you, thinking you were an oak. I knew the wind could bend you, but I can't believe you broke.
Now the wind could never break me, only your false love.
Honey, I've been through, I swear by God above.
I thought you were a willow, but you never wept for me. You went roaming in the wildwood like a ship that roams the sea.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
You got to appreciate when somebody is true to form and ends a season the same way that they ended the season before. Drew had looked this up during the commercial break. What happened with Patrick Beverley yesterday? The NBA regular season wrapped up yesterday.
Final game of the season, he gets ejected, calling the ref trash, and repeatedly called him trash. He didn't take it any further than that, but got ejected. And you gotta love a guy that finishes the way that he starts. And that's exactly what Pat Beverley did with the 2021-2022 NBA season.
Yeah, he was suspended. It was in the playoffs last year for shoving Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? And then he had to sit out the first game of the season. And I would imagine by the time you've come to the end of the regular season, like Beverley's got enough technical fouls that he probably warrants another suspension. He may end up sitting on the bench to start next year, too.
I'm sure he will. But do you think that's going to change the way that he plays and change the mentality that carries into an NBA arena?
Nor should it. Don't you just buy in? Once you sign him for a contract, you're like, all right, there's going to be this many technicals, this much fine money.
Nobody goes to an NBA arena to see Pat Beverley act like a gentleman. Nobody goes to see him act like very respectful to the refs. You want to see that fire. You want to see that passion from Patrick Beverley. Like that's what he's all about. That's what he brings to the game. You like it.
Well, what about the intensity and the passion from UCF and Memphis baseball in a pretty unique circumstance, at least for the college game? And here we've been talking about these bat stickers potentially falling off, and people maybe using illegal bats and all of that. But this is different. For those who haven't never seen the pine tar incident from the 1980. Was it 81 or 82
82.
season? 82.
It was 82.
The 82 season, this was late in the year. George Brett hits a home run off Goose Gossage in the ninth inning to give the Royals the lead, and Billy Martin protests the bat that he's using. He said he has too much pine tar on it. I forget the name of the umpire, but I should never forget his name. He's a big guy, too. And the pine tar was not allowed to extend any farther than the length of home plate. And Brett had too much pine tar on the bat. He was called out after he'd already circled the bases in this dramatic moment, and he absolutely lost it. Charged the umpire as red-faced as anybody's ever been in his life, and it's all ended up working out in the Royals' favor. The American League president, who I think was Gene Budig then, on an appeal, decided, well, they would keep the home run, and the Yankees, I think, would get to hit another time, and they ended up finishing this game before the start of another game, and the Royals won it anyway. I think en route to an American League West Division championship that year. So now we've got this situation with Memphis and UCF. The Memphis player, it's a UCF player, hits a home run.
Yes,
he hits a home run. You don't get to see the Memphis coach protest with the bat, but you do see the umpire take the bat.
And apparently Schoenrock asked for it to be examined and protest the
You see the umpire put the bat against the plate, which is 17 inches, and then call the batter out. And then the UCF coach completely loses it.
Oh, Lovelady, he was in his emotions, wasn't he?
Wimberly, the pitch for Memphis, kind of goes at the UCF coach because of all the demonstration he's showing on the field. The benches then begin to empty, and it looks like they're about to have a real on-field melee. Thank goodness these umpires were able to get them back. Did you see them holding them? They were like the get-back coach for a sideline of an NFL team or a college football team.
Oh, those umps weren't letting anybody go after anybody. I mean, they did an incredible job of keeping everybody separated and trying to let cooler heads prevail, but the umps kind of started the whole thing. I mean, yes, Schoenrock kind of, I don't know, protesting the pine tar. It seems a little petty to me.
A little Bush.
A little Bush. I mean, especially when you're down 5-0 in the first inning, and it's your last season as the head coach of Memphis, and you've never done anything in your entire coaching career at my alma mater. I don't know why now all of a sudden you're going to try to scratch and claw and try to win everything that you can, even though you lost 15-6 when it was all said and done yesterday. But the umps, I think, what got Lovelady so upset, which great name, by the way.
Yeah.
So upset was the calling the home run off and calling the batter out. And you were reading the rule to me during the break, and in nowhere in the official rule when it comes to too much pine tar on the bat does it say anything about reversing the play, reversing the call, and calling the batter out.
Part of the problem with this is that if you're going by home plate, the plate is 17 inches wide. The rule says that you can't have any foreign substance, which would also be pine tar or anything else, more than 18 inches up from the knob of the bat.
So you get an extra inch.
It's not an. We all need an extra inch, but it's not identical from the length of the what you can have on the bat and the actual plate. But the kid shouldn't have been called out. The craziest aspect of this is that initially the kid hits a home run, the UCF player hits a home run, and then he's called out after he gets into the dugout, and then this almost fight occurs, and then they go back to the league office, the American Athletic, the AAC, and they reverse the reversal, and the home run stands after the coach for UCF had been ejected, and you almost had a fight on the field. So this didn't have to happen in the first place.
No, it didn't.
That was the more mind-blowing aspect of it. Like the home run happened, then it was changed, then they almost fight, then it's changed back again. What was my theme at the start of this show here? The
umpires are worse.
The umpiring is not very good in the SEC right now. This gets to the heart of that. Like, know the rule. Know the rule.
You have to. And, I think that the announcers, which both guys I've worked with plenty of times, I worked Jeff Brightwell and Greg Gaston, I think they did a good job of trying to keep up with everything that was going on and explain it. I went back and watched not just the bits and clips that have got shared on social media, but the full, 5 minutes of this whole altercation that happened. I thought they did a really good job of trying to explain as much as they could. But you have to, if you're the umpire, you can't just let a coach talk you into something. You can't have the coach tell you, what the rule is. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Schoenrock said, hey, that's longer than the plate. He should be out. So then they go, okay, well, yeah, it's longer than the plate. He's out. No, you need to at least know those rules. If you're an umpire, you should be an expert on the rule book. You shouldn't have the same knowledge as casual fans or people or casual people.
The kid shouldn't have been called out to begin with. That's what the rule book says. And maybe it's a fallacy when we think that if you use an illegal bat, if you use a bat that has not been tested, then you're out. You can't use that bat. If you've got too much pine tar on your bat or too much pine tar up the barrel, then you get a warning. You don't get called out. You get a warning. And if the batter continues to use that bat, then he's ejected from the game. It says nothing about being called out.
No, it doesn't.
At all. This was an umpire in this case that didn't know the rule book that he's supposed to be operating by.
And JT brings up a good question. I think what a lot of people don't know. He says he never understood, what does it matter how high the pine tar is?
Discolors the baseball is the only reason why. That's it.
It doesn't give you an advantage, which I don't know why it's a rule. And it's not like we don't substitute baseballs in for every little nook and little nick and little bit discoloring from the grass or something. So why does it even matter?
Yeah. Well, it's I guess the same idea that the pitcher isn't supposed to put that stuff on the ball either. Discoloring, or you can put certain weight on it and throw pitches you're not supposed to hit. It's just to try to keep a foreign substance off the baseball. I don't think the batter gets it. The batter doesn't get any extra any extra thing from putting pine tar 19 inches up the barrel.
And honestly, if you're the batter, why would you want the ball to be discolored? It's harder to see.
There you go.
So why even have a rule?
I don't know. Well, know the rules though when they're in
Baseball is dumb.
You're paid to know. This is like one of those things.
We love a dumb sport.
You're paid to do one thing. It's a little more than just that, simplistic, but you're paid to know the rules. So know the rules.
Exactly.
You can also be paid to build great fences and gates if you're a fence builder or have building experience at The Fence Man. It's the company you trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates. Well, they're looking for quality people to join their team right now. The Fenceman offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. So you can join the Fenceman just by going in person in Fort Smith, 1213 North 32nd Street. The Fenceman is an equal opportunity employer. And halftime will wrap things up after this.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I'm on a mission to help you cash in when you clean out your garage. So stop making payments on a car you're not happy with, because right now you could clean up in a Rath Road Ready vehicle, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. It's out with the old and in with the new, only during my Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event. So dust off that old ride and trade up when you bring it in today, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. Keeping the car you have? Keep it running this spring with a free inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires in our Meineke Car Care Center. But hurry, this deal's done once 86 people make a clean getaway in a nicer, newer car. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe and a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
March Madness is here, and Burton Pools and Spas has the biggest savings of the season right now on Doughboy above ground pools. Hi, Tommy Kraft here from my good friends at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. If you've imagined that backyard of your dreams with a Doughboy above ground pool, now is the time to act. With savings up to $900 right now on select in-stock Doughboy pool packages. In fact, Burton Pools and Spas has special savings on cash and carry above ground Doughboy pools, starting at $19.95 right now. Ask about semi-in-ground pools and get a free upgrade on a robotic cleaner valued at $600 this month at Burton Pools and Spas. Hey, the Burtons have been helping families all across the area for more than 40 years make their backyard dreams come true. Stop in and see Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, helping you get your feet wet without getting in over your head.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Every moment counts. As soon as you test positive for COVID-19, talk to your doctor to see what treatment might be right for you. We now have a variety of options, from monoclonal antibodies to lessen symptom severity and prevent hospitalization, to oral antivirals to treat mild to moderate cases. But the treatments work best the sooner you begin. For more information, go to healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder. Thunder, 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 thunder.
find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
And wrapping things up here on halftime. First, I want to remind you, on a Monday, you want to be over at Joe's Grill and Cantina for their Monday special because it's Mexicali with 2 sides, just $10 all day long. That's a chicken breast topped with sautéed spinach, poblano cream sauce, and queso fresco cheese. You get a couple of cheese enchiladas with it. Ultimate margaritas are $5, swirls just $2. That's all day long today, Joe's Grill and Cantina. We'll have Razorback baseball on the TV all week long as well, starting tomorrow. And that means half-price apps and taps when the game is on. Joe's Grill and Cantina. You can order online at Joe's Fort Smith or download the Waiter app or just give them a visit across from Harps. Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Saw your Orioles were swept over the weekend, Drew.
Yeah, unfortunately. But today's a new day. It's opening day. It's the 30th anniversary of Oriole Park at Camden Yard. Let's go, O's.
Hey,
new
that's
day.
Nice. I saw my Pirates actually found a way to beat the Cardinals in one game. I don't know how they pull it off. I barely know who most of these players are. This first baseman that they got, Michael Chavis, 3 hits. I don't know where Chavis came from first. And the winning pitcher, I barely even know how to say his name. Miguel Yajur. Yeah, I know.
Can't say I know him.
These are guys that might have gotten call-ups at the end of last season, but by then I'd been ignoring the Pirates for about 4 months long. So, hey, at least they got a win. So today is the birthday of Camden Yards?
Well, they're celebrating the 30th anniversary. I think that it was like, about 2-3 weeks ago, but this will be the 30th opening day of Oriole Park at Camden Yards.
That's the ballpark, Drew, that just started the craze of. All the ballparks that look the way they do now, and there feels like there's more of a change in how ballparks are being built now. Again, the renditions of what Oakland's new park will look like if they do get it passed looks nothing like what anybody would think a baseball park looked like because they're going to have like a park on the roof, a little bit different. But Camden Yards started all of the. PNC Park looks like it does because of Camden Yards. Progressive Field looks like that. Great American Park in Philadelphia. I know New York, the Mets built Citi Field to look like Ebbets Field, but there wouldn't have been this call for nostalgia for that, until the Orioles built Camden Yards and built a ballpark that looked like
a ballpark instead of the cookie cutter circles.
It did, but it also looked like it was kind of built to fit right there, with some weird angles, and you had that B&O warehouse and everything. And when that park opened, nothing looked like it. There wasn't a thing that looked like it, and it stood out. And it still stands out. Like Camden Yards holds up. Like there are movies from 30 years ago that don't hold up anymore. This ballpark holds up, and it'll stand the test of time.
Oh, it definitely does. And it's a great ballpark. It's got a terrible team in it, and that's thanks to Peter Elangelos, and all the crappiness that he does for the Orioles' once proud franchise. But I do love going to games at Camden Yards. And my favorite fun fact about Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Phil, do you know what once stood where the pitcher's mound is at Oriole Park at Camden Yards? Do you know it was once there?
Is that where... That's not where the orphanage where Babe Ruth lived was located.
It was not.
Okay.
That was where his father's bar was. His father's bar was located at the exact point of the pitcher's mound at Orioles Park at Camden Yards.
I think the orphanage where George Herman Ruth was raised is in that area.
It is in the area.
He was from Baltimore.
I've been to the Babe Ruth Museum in Baltimore. It's pretty nice. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Without that, like I remember, I went to too many games at Three Rivers Stadium. I know what it felt like at those symmetrical ballparks where it was built for football, but you can probably play baseball here too. And who cares about the fan experience? I saw a video from like 1982 where Lanny Fratteri, the voice of the Pirates, is the voiceover, and he's telling you about all these great modern things at Three Rivers Stadium. You've got a bullpen cafe where you can go get a drink and you don't have to sit in your seats. And he touted It was hilarious. They touted the billboards in the stadium, yes, as a matter of like civic pride.
That's modern luxury?
Yes, modern luxury was looking at a Heinz billboard. Yes, and a U.S. Steel billboard. Like, I mean, come on now. There's a few more things expected when you're welcomed into a major league ballpark now. And since you're probably paying upwards of $50 to do it, yes, you would expect a little more of the experience.
The only like cookie cutter circle arena stadium that I've ever went to, I think, was original Busch Stadium. Was the closest I ever got to, was getting into one of those cookie cutter type of stadiums, and I was probably, oh goodness gracious, I had to be no more. I'm older than like 5 or 6.
The thing that always stood out for me at those kind of stadiums, because I sat on the upper deck at Three Rivers. I went to a game at Shea and sat on the upper deck, and the same at Old Busch Stadium. Well, this would have been the second Busch Stadium, because I think they renamed Sportsman Park Busch Stadium and then built the cookie cutter one, which I think was the first amongst all of those. Shea was probably the first. But anyway, the upper level, I'm not kidding, like completely scary. Do not watch a game from the top deck of those old cookie cutters if you had even an inkling of a fear of heights, because they were pitched at such an angle. It's like you were looking straight down, and I would not get up from my seats in some cases, because it's, depending on how many beers you might have had, like, holding on for dear life.
Also, in some of them, like the weird concrete like awnings that would come out. Like I remember, you've seen the 30 for 30 of when the series stopped from the earthquakes between the A's and Giants World Series. Like, if that concrete didn't hold, it could have killed thousands of people. Like, who thought it was a good idea to build concrete awnings above people? We're gonna pack thousands of people in this arena, and we're just going to put concrete over them.
Well, that was when they were trying to build as many seats as they could in an enclosed space and save some money by having a stadium that held football, NFL, and Major League Baseball. And now there's no stadiums that do it. Not a single Major League Baseball team plays in the same facility as an NFL team.
The only one that still plays in the cookie cutter arena would be the A's.
And of course, it wasn't good enough for the Raiders to stick around. They went and got a vacuum cleaner for a football stadium, and the A's, with sewage coming out from the drains in the showers, that was 3 years ago, still need a new ballpark. And we are done on this Monday. It's been a lot of fun. Be safe out there, because we've got some pretty heavy winds and a chance of a tornado. But we'll be back with you tomorrow, so have a great rest of your Monday. For Drew and Maddie, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.